The emergency of a big corporate hospital where I also consult part-time with severe giddiness walks into the emergency and asks for me because he's my old patient. The emergency doctor, somebody young like you who has just finished emergency medicine, tells that person there, this is not Dr. Sharan's problem, this is ENT problem. Because giddiness is ENT. So he calls ENT doctor, he also sees and admits under ENT for giddiness. Giddiness treatment is started. Next day morning, he is looking drowsy. Then the neurologist is called, she thinks it's a stroke, and they ask for an MRI. By the time the MRI is done, it's 5 o'clock in the evening. Imagine, this is all in Bangalore city story. I'm not talking about some rural story. Then they see a large cerebellar infarct. Then they call me. I see him, he was very bad, he was obstructive breathing. I said, put him on ventilator. He was deeply unconscious. I spoke to the family, which is the wife and his brother-in-law. His brother-in-law is an anesthesiologist who was the head of intensive care of another private hospital in Bangalore in Frasertown. I told them I have to operate on the cerebellar infarct. You know what that anesthetist said? He said, Dr. Sharan, with due respect to you, in my 15 years of practice, I have never seen even one such patient survive. He gave me an honest opinion. I said, Dr. Mahesh, not only have I seen patients survive, I have patients back at work. He did this. I operated him. Next 3 weeks, deeply unconscious, not moving on ventilator. After 1 week, everybody gave up. He said, sir, shall we prognosticate? Shall we tell them to withdraw ventilator and allow him to die? I said, nothing doing. All the cerebellar guys lie like this for 3 to 4 weeks. It's called cerebellar asthenia. He will wake up. 2.5 months inpatient, 2.5 months outpatient, tracheostomy, peg tube, everything done. This is him climbing the Chamundi Betta. Driving his car. He is the HR manager of Toyota Kirloskar. He is back at work. This, guys, is the nasha of doing things well. But you need to have the skill. A lot of people think you need technology to do these results. My Japanese professor used to tell, a fool with a tool is still a fool. Don't get enamored by all these fancy gadgets that are around you. If you don't trust your fingers, nothing else is going to work. Okay, so this is this guy. This lady had an intracerebral hemorrhage. Her brother asked me, is it worth giving treatment to her? Because I am spending all the money, they have no money. This lady had so much of problems. You can see the 2 holes in her skull. You cleaned up the intracerebral hematoma. She's back in making chapatis at home. I'm not showing you scans. I'm showing you patients, their stories. Scan will be something, it will be having its own journey. That's okay. So next, so let's go further from here. I want to show you this. I showed you vision circuits. Remember this? People said you have eyesight but no vision. So let's look at what this vision is all about. So this is the vision circuit I showed you. This is V1, which is the visual cortex. Then you have something which is called the vision association areas. Have you studied all this? Association areas. These are the association areas, V2, V3, V4, V5. And then you have something called PAA. Have you heard of PAA? Posterior association area, multi-sensory integration area, which is at the angular gyrus, where the S1, V1, association areas of sensory motor cortex, the vision cortex, the auditory cortex, everything comes and blends there. Then a decision is made what is to be done. That decision is sent to the anterior association area, which is the frontal lobe. From the frontal lobe, the decision goes to the premotor cortex. From the prefrontal cortex, it goes to the S1, which is the motor cortex, and down the corticospinal tract for action. So look at this guy. He's a banker. He worked all his life in a bank, retired as a bank manager. His life is all about numbers. He had a cardiac arrest. Because of his cardiac arrest, he had a hypoxic injury to the brain. They put a pacemaker. Post-hypoxia, this is his story. He's calling his wife Rita. He's only telling his name. Next, look at this. He's got a sheet from 1 to 24 and she's asking him to show the numbers for a bank manager. 1 to 24. Just watch this. He's trying to find 2 now after 1.
No, after 1, 2. 2 is here.
After 1, 2.
After 2,
After 1, 2. After 2, this is
no, after 2, what is there? What number comes?
3.
Yeah, where is it?
This is 3. No?
This is not 3, this is 4.
4.
So after 2 is 3. Show me 3.
After 2 is 3. Okay.
Show me 3.
Already 3 here. No? 23 here is 1. 23 is
No, I don't want you to show 23. Show me only 3.
only 3 here.
Yes.
Only 3 is here.
It's there.
1 second.
He's pushing there only. He's not searching anywhere else.
I don't want you to show 23. This comes later. Just show me 3.
You want to 3 here.
Yeah.
3 is here.
Number 3.
Number 3 is here.
Look down. 1 to 10.
Down.
She's asking him to count 1 to 10 now.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that.
1 to 10.
Huh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So he knows 1 to 10.
Very good. After 10 till 20.
1, 2, 3, 4,
After 10, he's counting from 1.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Well, it is 11 or 12 is
Now he's processing that information.
20.
10, 11, 12, 13, 1 to 10, 16,
Next.
17, 18, 19,
After 1.
So now he's writing 1 to 10.
1, 2, right?
Okay? He's writing himself. You see?
2, 3,
Very good.
So he writes everything.
1 plus 1, 0 or something.
He can't read what he has written.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, you've written correctly. Okay. So what is this number?
This is 5.
Very good. This is?
That is 8.
Very good. This is?
3.
Very good. This is?
Stuck.
Both these together.
11.
No, these two
Should be
together.
11.
No, these two together.
He himself cannot read what he's written. Have you heard of alexia with agraphia, alexia without agraphia? That's what's going on. So he had an injury to the cuneus and precuneus of the medial occipital lobe. So look at him.
What is 2 plus 2?
2 plus 2.
What is 2 plus 2?
How much is it?
14.
14. Bank manager.
2 plus 2.
2 plus 2 is?
14.
14.
Okay?
2 minus 2 is?
It's actually 14.
He's still writing 14. He looks okay, but he's not okay.
So there are
So we go front here. I'm just trying to show you how complicated this is. Let's do a few more of this. I'm really taking you through a journey, guys, to know what's going on. All of us know the communication revolution. How many of you know that the first phone looked like this? This is how the first phone looked. No dial, no redial, no memory, nothing. You just hello, hello, you do that. Then I don't know how many of you remember this. Old line. We should dial like this. The way it used to make noise, I will know whose number my mother was dialing. Which auntie, which uncle, what's going on, especially if there's some teacher business and all of that we could know. But no redial there also. And then we used to wait for 6 months to get one phone connection. Our phone number, we should dial like this. The way it used to make noise, I will know whose number my mother was dialing. Which auntie, which uncle, what's going on, especially if there's some teacher business and all of that we could know. But no redial there also. And then we used to wait for 6 months to get one phone connection. Our phone number, So now, for those who couldn't afford a landline, do you remember this? How many of you remember how cool was this? STD Booth. We used to stand outside, knock the they look at the number and do all those things. That is what is happening. All these are extinct right now. One of the first Nokia phones, 1100. I'm quite sure many of us have owned this. Whoa, what a phone is in my hand. None of you will look at it now. You will keep it in the museum right now. And then we have the current phones, iPhone Pro Max, the new Samsung. And look at some of the futuristic phone designs. All of you are smiling nicely. If you look at the same way, is what is happening in the medical profession today, technology-wise. Where are we? Correct? Technology in medical profession is still very, very behind. Very important for us to understand. We have to marry technology with clinical skills to make a difference there. Otherwise, we'll be left behind. So, why am I telling you this? I don't know how many of you remember this. We should write letters like this. Aerogram. My cousin in Canada, I used to write a letter, post it to him, 14 days to go one way. He has to read, 14 days other way, 28 days. He will never mark the para and comment. So I have to remember what I wrote. I never used to Xerox. There was no Xerox at that time. I should remember what I wrote and what is responding to what I wrote. Today, you put a WhatsApp message, 2 seconds, the blue tick doesn't come, you get restless. You should take 14, 28 days. Can you imagine how impatient this generation is? Sowing and reaping are two different seasons, guys. Remember this. So we have all of this going, current ways of non, I'm doing Facebook and all of those things we're having. So this is something I want to show you again. This is how we used to make holes in the skull. When I learned, we used to have a brace. We used to make a, burr hole with the hand. This is a hand drill. Okay? And if I'm not careful, going through, I can go through outer cortex, inner cortex, basal ganglia, everywhere if I'm not careful when I'm drilling inside. We have to make 6 holes in emergency and then put that saw and karra. We have to, by the time we do it, leg would be soaked with blood and everything else. And then high-speed drills we use today, 1 lakh RPM, I can drill it as cool as I want. So I go to the last part of my talk, which is technology. So what did Darwin say? Darwin said it's not the strongest of species that survive or the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. And then we need to adapt fast to the changing circumstances. So we have a concept called rebooting the brain. We have an online brain function test calculator. You can all go to rebootingthebrain.com website. No American owns the rebootingthebrain.com. We own it. So you can imagine how even they didn't think about that. So our whole concept is rebooting the brain. So you can go online and check what is going on. You get the safer reports on Microsoft Teams. We have software. This is the software for which I won the grand finale award. The competition. We have built our own software to manage the patients, manage the process. So I'm going through that. I'm just showing you what is possible. Software, neuroplasticity. I want to show you how we have done gaming. Sorry, 1 second. People think technology is very cool. Remember, Frugal Innovations is the name of the game. We don't need AK-47 to kill a fly. We just need a good swatter. Even if Sundar Pichai of Google, his son is weak in mathematics, today he needs mathematics tuition. You can't put a USB port and load mathematics into his brain, impossible. If Sachin Tendulkar's cover drive is weak, you can't put an exoskeleton to him and expect him to practice cover drive. He has to practice. Please understand, even in today's world, you have to still reconnect the brain circuits the old-fashioned way. Okay? So make in India, make for the world. I run my own engineering company. I make low-cost gadgets because we can't afford international gadgets, too expensive. Our patients don't have money. So we run our own engineering company. So I'll show you some of the engineering stuff that we've done. All these PCBs we have designed ourselves. These boards. Look at all of this done, made in Mysore, made in Bangalore. These all are maps. So IMT based. I'm in the process of building India's first smart rehab hospital. So all of you remember by September of next year, when you see the announcement, you will see how smart that rehab hospital is. It's going to come up in Bangalore. Then you can see. So I'm going to jump to the technology. We are designing our smart mirror. So when the patient stands in front of the mirror, it will show the brush, it will show this so that he can retrain, because all these people's brain is forgotten what is to be done. So all those things we train them. Look at this body tracking technology. Sorry. So this is one of the technologies that we are building. You see that? Simple technology. We want to know how much is abducting, how much is moving, all the angles of the body. This is a web application. Very easy to know. I can pause it, I can put any video and get whatever data I want out. Because when they're not moving enough, I want to know what is going on. You see leg, hand, when the paralyzed limb compared to the normal limb, what is it doing? Sitting, standing, real time, see how sensitive it is. It's moving very well. Next video. Body tracking. Hello. Yeah. See the hand movements. He'll come closer. The hand is very difficult to map. So that's the angles that happens. Then this is a balance board where he stands on a balance mat. Which side is putting more pressure? One side more, one side less. If both are equal, both these bars will be equal. If he starts bending to one side, one thing will go down, one thing will come up. That keeps going down. I'll show you that. So anyway, look at this. I want to show you this. Tracking the face, facial palsy. When you're doing speech therapy, we do all of that. We can map all of this. Very easy, very simple. I don't have to charge thousands of rupees for this. This is all very easy technology. Look at the finger movements. How every joint I can know, then I can know which joint has to do which therapy, how much is improving, what is happening. Today there's nothing. Today imagine all of you do blood tests, you get a report, you get your number, you have a number next to it, correct? Based on this number, you know whether it's normal, low or high. Both these numbers are not there with the brain. So everybody is happy. Nothing to measure, not to know whether the brain is working or not working. So we are trying to do all this to know what is going on. And we do 3D printing. How many of you know 3D printing as an idea? We print nail cutter supports, spoon support for patients who can't hold their own spoon. So that they can feed themselves. All that we print. We print it ourselves. We take the shape of the hand the patient wants. We put all these labels. So I'll show you this 3D printing. Patient can't use the spoon, so we give a reinforcement pen. Depending on what they want, so they can start writing by themselves. Even small things like a list. Many of them are living alone at home. See spoon, reinforce the spoon. They can hold a little better and not drop the spoon. So independence for daily activities of daily living. Fork, knife. If they can't hold cup in one hand, they can hold it both hands and drink. Because if patient can do that, the family gets some time off to do other things. You don't need a robot for all these things. Simple things. One hand nail cutting. This is two hand nail cutting. One hand is paralyzed. He can't use the hand, so he uses forearm and cuts his nail. This is one hand nail cutter. One hand is gone completely. Same hand he will use to cut. See that? Simple things like that, guys. So my take-home message first. Only technology doesn't work. The mantra for success is Clinitech. You have to be a good clinician first. Take-home message number 2. Please do not overkill with tech available. When you have a hammer in your hand, everything looks like a nail. Don't do that. Get appropriate technology. Summary, functional neuroscience is a very complex process, very few understand. The CNS is still an old-fashioned wired model, nowhere being Wi-Fi enabled. It's a marathon race, not a 100-meter race. Consistency, multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary approach is a must. Progress, prognosis, and outcomes very difficult to predict. When well done, you see magical results like you have seen. I'm not saying all my patients do well, but many of them do better than what they could have been. So, what am I trying to convey? Functional neuroscience is last frontier to be explored. Only system with hardware, individual software, programs, folders, files, and apps in the brain. Restoring the data of a crashed hard disk without backed up information on any smart device is impossible, but possible in the human brain. The journey from either coma to community or caught to community is a complex marathon race with no finish line. So I want to conclude by saying this. Best results are a combination of neuromodulation with neurorehabilitation. You need to have an evidence-based process. I've shown you all of those things that we have done, brain function tests, our patents, perseverance follow-up, and unless everybody works together, if the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, nothing is going to work in this world. So we have to be together, not together separately. So ladies and gentlemen, the last bit of my talk. First time in the world, I was very frustrated because people like you didn't know time is brain, so many things. How to get this message across? I made my own web series. Our combination of neuromodulation with neurorehabilitation. You need to have an evidence-based process. I've shown you all of those things that we have done, brain function tests, our patents, perseverance follow-up, and unless everybody works together, if the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, nothing is going to work in this world. So we have to be together, not together separately. So, ladies and gentlemen, the last bit of my talk. First time in the world, I was very frustrated because people like you didn't know time is brain, so many things. How to get this message across? I made my own web series. Web series, I don't know how many of you have heard. Have you heard of Bea and Fry? How many of you have seen Bea and Fry? Of Dr. Jagdish Chaturvedi was featuring Bea and Fry. Bea and Fry is on my story. So if you have not seen, go to our YouTube channel and watch it. Let me show you a sample of it. So our patients' Bejas are fried. We are trying to unfry it. So it's called Bea and Fry. Ladies and gentlemen, Bea and Fry. Don't forget to see it. 6 episodes. You will love it. It's on our on our YouTube channel. You see, I have fun. I produce results. I'm doing it at low cost. I'm doing it in Bangalore City. Can you see that? How much is possible? Doing it for your own people. You don't have to sit somewhere else and say, oh, only if I'm sitting in Oxford, I'll do this, or in Cambridge. That's all nonsense. You can do whatever you want, wherever you want. If you have a purpose, you have a vision, and you want to make a difference.